you've got to understand your marketing funnel from top to bottom. And I would argue that nobody can understand this other than you. This is actually a key differentiator in startups today. If 10, 15 years ago, or further back, tech startups were differentiated more by their technology, increasingly, I believe they're differentiated more by their marketing, because the cost of delivering software, or creating software, and creating good technology is dropping. So that's becoming less of a sort of barrier to entry and less of a differentiator. And the ability to market and to reach your customer base effectively is more of a differentiator. I mean, it's always been a differentiator, but it's accentuated as a result. So you've got to understand this process within your business and understand all of the channels, even if you don't end up executing all of them. So what are the channels? And I'm no marketing genius, so you can probably find many better videos on this anywhere you look. But of course, you've got your social, you've got your email, you've got your direct, by which I mean meeting people face to face, and so through conferences, which can be very effective. Particularly in vertical niches, conferences can be super effective. But social, email, direct conferences, and then email really takes on, there's two types. There's what I'll call cold outbound email. And then there's email more newsletter style. So you've got, if I can spell right, you've got both of those, and lots of additional potential channels that you could hit. These are some of the highlights. Actually, the other ones would be the content piece, and I'll just put these together because content is kind of part of the game, but content and SEO. So bringing those folks searching for your product, bringing them in organically. So all of these channels and many more. But when you look at them, when you actually break them down, I mean, social, who better than you to actually get out there and spread your message on social media? Also because, who knows the message other than you? And you need to experiment with the message before you can scale it and you can hand it off to someone. You've got to get out there and do that posting, and or at least creating the content that needs to get posted. And then use honestly, there's a free version, I believe, of Buffer. So there's tools that can help you spread the same message across many different social media platforms. And so you can accomplish that one, at low cost. You just have to do the work of creating the actual content. Similarly, cold outbound email. Now this has gotten harder, but there's tools like Warmly, Instantly, Apollo.io that have relatively inexpensive tiers or even free tiers to help you get started with this and to just do some experiments before you go further. Conferences. Okay, so this isn't cheap, but there are conferences, SaaStr comes to mind, where you can volunteer to actually gain access. And so as an early stage founder, that's an important way to be able to get out there and be able to interact with others in your industry. If nothing else, you can start by attending before you buy an actual booth. And it's also worth noting that at many vertical industry conferences, there is a special discounted rate for startups and for for technology kiosks. There's oftentimes like a tech alley or something like that in a lot of conferences that you get cheaper access to. Final note on conferences, they're almost always negotiable. So negotiate the price you pay. Unlike with, say, software that you buy online, you can negotiate. Newsletter, emails, of course, there's freemium tiers for almost all of these products. And the content SEO, I guess, of course, I missed the other one, which is SEM, so paid ads. Hey, content, again, going back to the social media, you've got to write that content. There are lots of tools, many with freemium tiers, which help on the SEO side. On the SEM side, so this means Google ads and Facebook ads and so on and so forth, don't think you need to blow a budget out in order to start getting some initial test feedback. I found that $10 a day will do, and so it's a lot of channels in aggregate when you look at marketing. And this is actually why I think that one of the two kind of co-founders in most effective startups are going to be somebody, it's going to be someone who takes this by the horns. You have, even if let's say you don't have a technical co-founder, but you've got a product co-founder, somebody who owns that, well, you should have someone who owns this. Or if you are the technical founder, then you need to find that co-founder who owns all of this, because there's so many channels. It's enough time that it is a full-time job and something I think you should invest in, but you should invest in directly before you go and try to pay somebody to do it, particularly before you even know what your message is.